Hey, this is Ramble and Record. I'm outside with Tatum again. We're walking. Tatum did something very sneaky. He just collected some stones. And then when we said hi to the fishes, I saw him throwing stones at the fishes. And that's not what we do. And he was hiding it with Dino because Dino was in his truck, and then Dino was hiding the stone, so I couldn't see what he was doing. But I wasn't paying attention to because I was listening to a voice note that my friend sent me, and I thought, you know what, I need to discuss this. I need to talk about this subject, and this subject is about people, or people can be anybody, your family, your mom, your dad, your siblings, doesn't matter, your friends, that will look at your child and say, oh my gosh, your child is so dramatic. You were not that dramatic. You were not that dramatic. And that dramatic, what they are talking about, is more so that Tatum would cry randomly. He would have this dramatic meltdown outburst. And then recently he would have these meltdowns while maybe pushing his truck. And then his truck doesn't go because it gets stuck somewhere. So he starts screaming, he starts yelling, and he starts like, oh, and he starts having a meltdown. He will also have his meltdown He will also have his meltdown during what? During, like, he would play. He would laugh and be funny and be so annoying. And then all of a sudden, he would start crying. He would start crying and he would start being so sad. So anyway, the comment was, oh my gosh, your son is so dramatic. And sometimes we do think he's dramatic too. But we don't express that to him. We don't tell him like, oh my gosh, Tatum, you're dramatic. Maybe sometimes we tell him like, hey Tatum, you're being too dramatic. But anyway, when we don't say that, he just fell. Let's see if he cries. He's just running and he's falling, and now he's like, okay, you know what? This is not. Let's see. Okay. He just went for it. Anyway, so yeah, I would say, oh my gosh, Tatum, you're super dramatic. The wind is very windy. So you will hear that. I'm sorry, but when you get a voice note from your friend, this is what you would have to deal with. She's just, whenever she has a moment to yap, she'll yap. So then, where was I stuck? Yeah, anyway, so then the part was he's being dramatic. So I told my friend, I said, oh my gosh, recently Tatum has been such in like this mood, and he's so dramatic, and that's also what my people told me. And I don't know, I asked especially my mom, like, was I as dramatic as him, or was I like this? And she's like, no, you were not like that. Like, who does he get it from? And I was like, who does he get it from? I don't know. I mean, the only person that I know who he can get it from is me or Nicholas. And Nicholas's mom also says, like, no, Nicholas was not super tantrumy when he was a little boy. yes, they have their usual tantrums, but not just like how Tatum has it in a way, like expressively. So anyway, so then I kind of got like, okay. And then, then I heard, yeah, she says, we were never like that. My siblings were never like that. And then I start thinking of something before I told my friend. And then my friend told me, like, yes, I've heard that too with my child. What? Wow, what is it? What heb je je bal gegooid? Het is niet jouw bal, maar waar is het nu gegaan? Laten we kijken. Kijk het daar. Kijk het daar. Zie je het? Ja, goed zo. Yay. So, then she says, yeah, my child is also like that. Occasionally she would have like a tantrum. She would be so expressively. And then my mom would say the same thing. And then, and she would also say, no, you're not like that. So yeah, and I don't know what it is. And she would share, like, yeah, but what I try to do is calm her and look what she wants or what her deal is, and and most of the time it's not that she's hungry, because I fed her, I gave her everything, she's clean. She just wants to be around me. And even sometimes around me she would be having a tantrum, or she would be annoyed because maybe she's tired, right? So I was like, yeah, that's the same thing usually what I observed with Tatum. Tatum is usually always tired. Most of the time he just wants attention. He is just, I don't know, maybe he just knows how to express himself more, because guess what? I already know that when we were growing up, we could not have a tantrum. We would always get that eye, that look from your mom, like, just cry and you'll see. I should have said it in Dutch, because it's kind of, like in Dutch you would say like, begin te huilen. Ga je zien wat je gaat doen. And that's also the verbal aggressive tone that you will hear your mom would say to you. Or you would get a slapping. Yes, a very bold slapping. You would cry, and then they would say, cry further and I'll give you something more to cry about. And then they just swap you to cry. So you cannot even express yourself how you feel, right? You say, yeah, but that child is constantly crying. She needs to be corrected. But have you asked what the child wants? And yes, Tatum cannot speak yet. So it's super frustrating and super tiring, super overwhelming if he doesn't know what to say and he starts crying and bawling out, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do you want? And then you get that urge from trauma, I guess, to also swap him and say, just shut up, because you're just too much. You're too much. So what do you think that will put in a child's brain? And I think it's very it's so understandable now why so many people or moms, especially millennial moms, because I'm a millennial mom, who are constantly talking about awareness, mental health, raising, especially if they're moms a little older and having a child. Because yes, there are also young moms that are understanding certain dynamics, and I'm very proud of those moms. They read a lot, they research, and they also observe their child. And they have also one thing in common with every other mom who is in this healing process, who is in this journey of being more aware of how they are raising their child or their children, is we want them to grow up with what we did not have when we were young. And yes, our moms are not bad. They did a great job. We are who we are right now. We are respectable human beings. We are, we know norms and values, and you could say like, oh, this other generation, they don't know anything. They're just, you know, I don't know. But we have other things that we're dealing with, right? There are many of us who are like, we don't want to have children. I was one of those that said, I don't want to have children. I don't want to have children because I don't want to pass down certain things. I don't want to deal with this and that. I don't want to deal with the responsibility of growing a human and teaching a human the values and the responsibility of what he or she has to be a good human in this world that is falling apart. It's a very huge responsibility. It's a very huge role that parents have, mom and dad. And I also wasn't in a stable relationship, so I did not want to have or raise a child. That's for me. And I know not everybody is in the position that I am. Everybody wants to be in the position and they strive to be in the position, but it didn't work out. So I'm not bashing anybody, but it's for me. It's what I wanted. And because I knew how important it is to have a mom and a dad. Because I grew up with a mom and a dad, even though my dad was my stepdad. That's also important. And even if you don't have like a partner to help you carry the load, if you have male friends that are very kind and very helpful and are just really good friends, you should let your child know them, even if they're of this great uncle, because they will certainly carry a part of their blueprint to see what a man should be. Because I'm just saying that because Nicholas, my husband, he has at least two friends that I know of who has child, a boy and a girl, where he was pretty present as an uncle, and they call him not daily, but occasionally they would call him, check up on him, ask him how he is, and they're both, one is in his 20s and one is 16 years old. And I revisited them and they were so excited to see him and talk with him, like he was a father figure for them. So it is important that they will have at least one healthy male relationship that they will see that their mother has. I'm just saying. Or vice versa. A dad that has a healthy friend, female friend. Doesn't have to be with each other. They don't have to be a sexual relationship. Anyway, coming to the point is that we have not been raised to express ourselves very well, right? We haven't, we got the side eye when we wanted to even cry or say something. We did not, we got a spanking if we would do something out of the ordinary that isn't really ordinary. If you just observe the child, then you will see that certain things are developmental parts of a child. Curiosity, wanting to know everything, being reckless, being, like they want to, like, cause and effect. They want to see if things break. They want to wreck things, even though, like for instance, like just now. Now is a good example. Tatum is walking with me, right? He has his truck. And the image that we're seeing right now is he is driving over his teddy, thinking it's super fun, super hilarious. What would happen if it was my mom growing up the way I grew up? One, I have to wash the teddy, right? The teddy's getting dirty. Two, you don't want to wash the teddy constantly because you're like, every time I have to wash the teddy, it's not nice. I don't want to waste water. I don't want to waste my soap. No. Three, he's going to wreck the teddy. The teddy is going to be ripped. He's going to ruin the teddy, right? Those are the things that you're thinking of. So the first response that you have, screaming at it, don't do it. You're wrecking the teddy. You're swapping him, right? That is my first instincts, what my mom would do and what I would have done if I wasn't just looking at him and taking a step back and saying, this is not my child. This is his childhood. This is his teddy. There are consequences. I can teach him now consequences. If you do that, your daddy might get dirty, so it will get washed, and everything can get washed. That's not a big deal. We don't have anything against using a lot of water or no water, because you know what? It's his first childhood. It's his only childhood. It's my first experiencing his childhood. Second, if the teddy gets ripped, it can be fixed, right? And if it can be fixed, I can tell him, hey, because you have done this, the teddy will get ruined. Or three, I could have told him and said, hey, Tatum, look. I could have told him, right? I could have told him and said, hey, Tatum, we don't do that with Dino. Dino will get dirty. He will get wrecked. But if he still do it because he thinks it's funny and he has this imaginary conversation with Dino, because that is what he has lately, then he'll just, start playing. He's laughing and he's going over Dino and he thinks it's funny because he thinks Dino thinks it's funny. Then I'll just have to let him do it, right? And then when it happens, then I can tell him, see, this is what happens. You won't do it again, or you might do it again. So I just think that him having a tantrum, which is annoying, which is overwhelming, tiring at times, is, I think, also now his way to express himself. How do you say it? He's allowed to express himself. We weren't allowed to express ourselves. We were allowed to not express ourselves. We were allowed to hold our feelings in. And guess what? Guess what happens? I turn out to be a journalist, sharing my feelings, sharing my story, sharing everything in my work, except with the person that I need to share it with. Because what? She isn't open to listening to what I have to share, because you know what? She also has her own childhood. and her own thing. Because what would she say? I did not have that with my mom, and she wanted to give me a childhood she didn't have, and she did give me a childhood she did not have. And that's, I think that every time we want to give our child a childhood we never had, there's something else that might be lacking. And, it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing. I just think it's a thing that parents need to just figure out for themselves. And then when the child gets older and says, hey, this is a trauma I had when I was younger and I was thinking about this, then the only thing you could say is, you know what, I'm so sorry you had to experience that because I didn't know, but I want to do better. What can I do for you now that will help you? And if the child's like, nothing, I just wanted to share that was really a hurtful moment. And then you're like, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that is how you're experiencing it. And that's it. And don't say, oh, but I'm a bad mom. No, that's not what we're saying. We're not saying you're a bad mom, because I would not have any other mom than the mom that I have. Because if I look at other moms, I'm also like, it's not, my mom is not like that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And yeah, I think it makes sense. And, we are also, if we're all overwhelmed and if we couldn't speak, then and we wanted to ask something we cannot write yet, then we would get frustrated too if we wouldn't get what we want, right? So, and as adult we would have that too. And children, they're just growing. And if we read science, they said that our brain are fully mature at age 26. So it's a long way to, help our children regulate through us and everything they're learning from us. We are their first mirror, their first, how do you call it? Example, like they look up to us because they have nobody else that they first saw. We are their imprints, just like animals. Just like some animals where they see the mom first and they follow the mom. Just see it as simple as that. That your child is just like a duckling. They see you, they follow you, and they do everything that you do to survive in the wild, so that they will become adult, they can do this cycle all over again. And that's just what we are. But the only thing that we have that the animals don't have is an intuition, is a conscious. That's the only thing. We have a conscious. They have instinct. We have conscious instinct / intuition. So that's all. Anyway, that was it. Thank you for listening. It's a super long podcast. I'm sorry, but I hope you get something out of it. Bye. Text me.